When hiring the UP Studio to design your architecture project, the first priority is to control the chaos. We do this by presenting the project through a multitude of phases. First, being concept and programming. In this phase, we're organizing all of the project requirements into a simple, elegant solution.
The parameters consist of multiple things: your program, the site, the path of the sun, village code, your budget, and your time frame. Our goal here is to organize all of that together.
Our first presentation is a series of simple diagrams describing our solution for your project. The three things we focus on are client constraints, environmental considerations, and the design concept. These simple-to-read diagrams will help to determine the overall organization of the project.
We have you fill out a questionnaire. We want to walk the site, but really we want to get to know you. How are we going to design the house around your needs?
It is important for us to get a firm understanding of your desired program, your timeline, and your budget.
Early on, we also want to visit the site. It's really important to get to know the land, understand the parameter of the neighborhood, and really just explore the energy on the property. The second phase of the architecture process is called schematic design. It's where we refine your floor plans and the massing of the project. Our concept-driven approach takes the diagrams from phase one, refines them, and allows the design to evolve.
In addition to studying the building's massing, we'll also start to explore and refine the building's floor plans. The floor plan presentation is the first presentation you can expect during this phase. During this presentation, you will start to see room sizes, room adjacencies, and major amenities located. The second presentation during this phase are the massing studies. This is where you literally see your home take shape.
In the massing presentation, we're using an iterative approach to show you the form evolving. Simultaneously, the exterior elevations with the door and window placements are starting to take shape.
The final presentation during this phase are the photorealistic renderings. These renderings will be the first time you're seeing your new home.
And this is really the exciting part for our team. It's where we show your project coming to life.
Sometimes we ask for reference images so we can better understand what your expectations are for building materials, for color, and for form. This is our favorite presentation to present to you.
The third phase of the architecture process is called design development. The goal of this phase is to evolve the schematic plans into a robust 3D model.
The three presentations you can expect in this phase are the building envelope presentation, the building systems presentation, and a 3D digital walkthrough. The building envelope presentation includes elevations and selections for windows, doors, siding, roofing, and decking.
In the building systems presentation, we want to focus on some of the inner workings of your home: the mechanical system, the plumbing, heating and cooling, the lighting, the shade location, also the AV and security.
During this phase, we will begin to engage the consultants required to complete your home. These consultants may include a structural engineer, a mechanical engineer, a civil engineer, a surveyor, a landscape architect, and an environmental consultant.
At the end of this phase, we're going to be giving you a 3D walkthrough. This allows you to experience your project in a really unique way.
We utilize innovative 3D technology to refine the building design and further develop the core and shell of the home.
The next phase is called interior architecture, and this is when we kick off our interiors process. This phase begins at the end of schematic design, when the exterior massing has already been defined and the programmatic layouts are already resolved.
During this phase, we begin to hone in on the individual spaces and the associated elements that go within them. The interior architecture phase is essentially a continuation of the architectural design process. Essentially, the shift focuses from macro to micro.
At this point, we're going to zoom in on specific areas, and we're going to look at enlarged plans, interior elevations, and clean white vignettes. The benefit of the all-white vignettes is it allows us to look at scale and layout without being distracted by the surface application or material selections.
At the onset of the project, we send you a project-specific interior questionnaire to fill out. The responses from the interior questionnaire essentially help us understand how you want to live and occupy the spaces within your home.
When we're studying some of these paths, sometimes it might be appropriate to design some custom pieces. For example, a custom stair can be a feature piece that really enhances the architecture. Additionally, custom millwork is an opportunity for us to create dedicated space that nestles directly into the architecture.
During this phase, we typically like to focus on kitchen, bathrooms, any areas within the home that allow for custom cabinetry. When the project's budget allows for it, we'll often dive into other select areas of the home. Perfect examples are entry spaces, fireplaces, and other accents.
Essentially, in the interior architecture phase, we're going to really define the layout and the programmatic space of everything inside your home. The next phase in our modern home design process is called interior architecture selections. The goal of this phase is to finalize all of the surface applications to all the fixed elements inside your home.
During this phase, we are selecting the finished materials that are getting applied and clad to the fixed elements of the home. This could include floor and wall finishes, cabinetry finish, paint colors, plumbing fixtures, and other accent materials.
While we're always looking for new and better products, we've also built up an internal library of products we love inside of our own studio. We pair this with all of the great relationships we've built from local reps and showrooms all throughout New York City. Together, this gives us an incredible wealth of materials where we can readily touch and feel before we're making any selections that we're sending off to our clients. The first presentation in this phase is just going to explore themes. We're going to curate a series of reference images for each room to make sure that we're capturing the proper mood, the proper vibe, and the overall feeling that we want to capture within the space.
The next presentation focuses on the material samples. We mail out a sample package or invite you into the studio. This is really valuable because it allows you and your family to touch, feel the materials, and experience them in the changing light. During this phase, we also like to touch on the trim elements and hardware within the home. These are fixed elements that are carried throughout the project, so it's really important to touch on these early on. Lastly, we also want to make sure that we're touching on plumbing fixture and accessories in each room of the home.
We understand that every project and every client has its own series of constraints. So it's really important that our team is only recommending products that fit within your budget. In addition to studying the budget and installation, we're constantly exploring the ethics and sustainability behind each one of the products we suggest. It's part of our studio's ethos to be curious, so we're constantly asking ourselves, is there a better product out there?
Material selections and the interior selection process is the most fun, in my opinion.
At the end of the interior selections phase, we'll have all the surface applications and all the materials selected. We can then visualize all of that together to create photorealistic renderings so you and your family can get the first view of what it's going to look like to live inside of your new home.
The next phase of the architectural process is construction documents. This is when we get into the weeds and suss out the details required to execute your project.
At this point of the project, all of your big decisions have been made and the real push for construction is happening. At the end of this phase, there's a final review of your plans. We want to make sure we have all the items specified correctly before we send it out to the contractor. These documents will be put together in a format that is used for building and also for submission to the building department.
These documents contain the necessary information and notes for the contractor to build your project.
Things like floor plans and structural items. We want to focus on plumbing, elevations, sections, just overall details tying the entire project together.
This phase is very time-consuming, and we ask for your patience while we finish up the drawings.
The next phase in our design process is interior construction documents.
This phase is really when the architecture and the interiors come together into a cohesive set of buildable documents.
This is when the project's details, all of the annotation, are all coming together and being documented inside and out. During this time, all of the parts are finalized, and we're taking all of this material and curating it into a package.
At this point, every single material and selection has been made, and we're going to get into the minute details of a drawing set. We'll work with your municipality, your consultants, and potential contractors to make sure we put together a set that's perfect for bid and perfect for approvals.
This package contains specifications, selections, and all of the details of the project inside and out.
Our really detailed construction documents will make sure that our design intent is able to be executed in the field.
The next phase of the architecture process is bidding and value engineering. The goal of this phase is to navigate the bidding process to make sure our design intent is withheld, but also within your budget.
This is when we collect quotes from qualified contractors and determine the final cost of construction. Sometimes during the bidding process, we encounter cost overruns. If this happens, we work with you and the contractor to value engineer the project to ensure the original design intent and bring costs down.
We create a bid review presentation so we can level out the bids and show you the contractor that we think best suits your project. Additionally, during this phase, we'll be receiving comments from the building department. We'll address those comments to make sure we receive your permit.
The next phase in the interiors process is interior design. When speaking about interior architecture and interior design, the analogy we like to use is if we flip the home upside down, the things that would fall out, which are essentially the movable fixtures in your home, falls under the scope of interior design.
Our architecture tells a story that's crafted with thoughtful intention, so we want to make sure in this phase we're selecting elements that are crafted with that same level of attention. At this point in the process, our team knows you really personally, but we want to make sure that we understand every last detail, so we send out one last interior design questionnaire.
The main goal with the interior design questionnaire is to define your project scope, budget, and your overall design preferences.
We start with a themes presentation that uses reference images to explain our intention for each space within your home.
Once we've reviewed our themes presentation, that kicks off our design sourcing and selections.
We can even go as far as selecting art, accessories, and decor. But every piece that you ask us to select for you, we want to make sure is custom to your family's needs. While we're always designing and thinking of your project holistically, we do our part to make sure that our presentations aren't overwhelming, and we break these down into digestible chunks.
Prior to every presentation, we ship over all samples related to your project so you can see and feel all the textures and materials that'll be going into your new space. When making selections on your behalf, we're constantly juggling a million things. We're considering your wish list, budget, lead times, sustainability, design layouts, scale of pieces, and ultimately how they all work and contribute in the new space. Every piece that goes into your home is an expression of the maker who made it.
So we want to make sure that we're working with makers who value ethics and sustainability above all. In this phase, we're constantly leaning on the relationships we've created from New York City and our design network.
Being based in New York City really positions us for success.
This community is a constant resource for inspiration and to expose us to new products that value quality and craftsmanship. We don't stop at just the selections. We also work with our clients to make sure they have the most seamless purchasing and installation process as well. And when it's appropriate, our team is also available to design custom pieces.
Oftentimes, we tape out the proposed furniture selections in a new space so you have a better understanding of scale and how each piece works together.
While procurement can be difficult, we use a product management software as a key tool to make this a lot easier. This allows you to track status and budget and ask any questions you might have about specific pieces. Additionally, we'll make sure that the pieces are purchased and stored so that they're ready for you on move-in day.
Our team prepares for install day months in advance to make this day as exciting as it can be for our clients. We coordinate with the receiving warehouse, movers, and even have a finished carpenter on site to make sure every piece is placed perfectly as we designed. Our team is there to witness the magic and excitement of our clients moving in, and it's a beautiful reminder of why we do what we do.
The final phase in the modern home design process is construction administration.
During this phase, we're making sure that the design intent is withheld during the entire construction process. We do this by attending regular site visits to observe the construction completed to date. We want to make sure that we meet with the contractor to address any concerns that are happening during the construction.
In this phase, we work to ensure that the design intent of your project is executed properly.
The build environment is tricky, and issues will arise, but our team is here to work with you and the contractor to address all of them through the life of the project.
And that's it, you're done. Enjoy your new home.
Thanks so much for watching the architecture process. We're excited to collaborate with you on your new home.